I don't know what the problem is. What's happening, everybody?
They were
Jimmy,
all pumped
are you here?
up after, yeah, they were all pumped up after that UFC on Fox.
Were they as pumped up as I was when you guys tried to talk about my fucking Lakers?
No,
you
my
guys
God,
been
man.
here.
Jesus Christ.
I turned into George, and George turned into me. It was fucking exciting.
Dude, this mug
He got a little angry.
here, no, that wasn't anger. That was sensitivity. You fucking, next time you want to catch that type of feelings, can I get one of these?
What's that, man?
Fair catch those motherfuckers, because you were captain sensitive.
I was ready to fuck some shit.
Yeah, you had a pink cape on, angry.
I was ready to dig it into all your asses.
Yep, don't talk about my Lakers. I was like, holy shit, his head's going to pop off.
Jimmy, you know, he met his match.
Good God.
Because George always wins arguments by yelling, so I had to take it up a level.
Yeah, I just
had to
about-
show
Yeah,
him
it
that
was-
you
it was-
cannot win
it
an
was
argument
intense.
by yelling.
I'll say that.
Kevin was beating on the table as if we just got done watching Planet of the Apes, and I wasn't
Yes.
sure what the fuck was going on.
He was Caesar.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah. He was-
No one won the argument. The only person.
I was like, all
the
right,
only
fuck it, you
person
win.
that got fucked up was
Your
the
neighbor.
table. The neighbor woke
Neighbor
up,
was
yeah.
knocking on the door. Hey, everything in there? You guys okay?
Fuck him too. So anyway, but real quick, we're going to give a shout. We only have one shout out today, and you know what?
One lucky dude.
You know what? We probably had another one because I think somebody either asked me to do it through Twitter or Facebook. Let me
Memory
tell you,
fades.
Stop
Yes.
sending shit to me. If y'all need a shout out, send it to him or send it to my email. Don't ask me shit on Twitter
George
or Facebook.
will. Yeah, you know what you should do? The thing you should do is to send it to me at uncutkevin@gmail.com because I will get it and then I will put it somewhere if you want to shout
I will
out.
definitely send you something, Kevin.
But Harry Phillips wants to do a retro shout out, even though it is past Christmas.
Dude, Harry Phillips.
Happy holidays! Is what he wants.
Dude, that sounds like something you might nickname your penis.
Harry Phillips. Harry, this is George. That is fucking. You
Seriously, look at your name, dude. I could seriously somebody.
Harry.
If you were on like
Cool
Fox
dude, though.
T-
Oh, you know him? Tell
know,
us
yeah,
about
man.
him.
Yeah, man, we hang out all the time. Yeah, right.
Is he like Harry Potter?
Yeah, Harry Potter's in that new movie, right?
That may
It's gonna
be
get
his-
about as
maybe
much
his
play
last
as
movie.
UFC Fox 2 did. That shit was terrible.
That movie wasn't released. It escaped.
If you guys can hear that voice, it sounds like it's whispering in the background. That is somebody else in our studio. He doesn't have a mic, so you probably won't hear him really clearly, but he'll try. You might want to yell, Alex, when you say something.
Now on to
Or
UFC.
fucking hump Jimmy and come over his back and try to talk
No,
in his mic.
yeah.
No,
yeah.
it's not happening. Okay, go ahead, George.
UFC on Fox 2. Did anyone here watch it?
Yes, we did.
Holy snooze fest, Batman.
Wow.
Yeah. You know,
I'm glad all of us literally have nothing else to say. Because let me tell you
It
right
wasn't
now,
worth
if Bisping would have fought Maia like that was supposed to happen, he would have crushed
Would have been
Maia.
a knockout.
yeah, he would have crushed Maya. And-
Instead, we had to suffer through Chris Weidman, who took the fight on short notice and beat Demian Maia.
He was. You know what, Chris Weidman? I mean, taken away, he was impressive to me because
He was
did,
gassed.
Yeah,
for half the
He
fight.
was gassed, but he did take the fight on short notice, and he did beat. I mean, he won the fight hands down, in my opinion. And so,
Yeah,
I mean, to prepare for it on short notice and to come in there and beat a guy like Demian Maia. Demian Maia's not a slouch.
Well, yeah, I mean, the biggest disappointment was
Okay,
Demian
why are you
Maia's
staring at me like you're
stand-up
trying to
game
burn-
and his cardio. It stunk.
Right.
I mean, he's been training for a few months for a fight. Are you kidding me?
Who
he
has?
looked terrible.
Demian Maia?
Demian Maia.
Oh.
Yeah, they both look very.
And I don't know
tight,
what his new. They say a newfound
yeah.
striking game. Where?
Who, Demian Maia?
Yeah.
He left that shit back in the locker room.
Yeah, he's striking.
I mean, to be
Striking
honest,
his way
I'm
to the
unemployment line. I'm not impressed with Demian Maia or Chris Weidman in this one. I don't know why they had to bring it.
I mean, Chris Weidman remained undefeated.
Good
so
for
that's
him.
good. It's good for him. Sometimes you have a good fight.
Let him fight Michael Bisping next.
Yeah, that would be a good
No
fight.
shit, seriously. Let
That would
him
be a
fight
good
Bisping or Munoz.
Right.
When Munoz had some kind, it looked like bone spurs or something removed from his elbow. He was tweeting pictures. It was gnarly because he was holding up a baggie of the stuff they took out of his elbow.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what all that was about.
Well, let's roll on to that fight. Chael Sonnen versus Michael Bisping.
Now, for all you people out there who thought Bisping won this fight, I'm sorry. I'm not with you on that one. Did Bisping win at least one round? Yeah, because one judge had it 30-27 for Chael, and I disagree.
Definitely don't see that.
Yeah,
But I think it's really hard with the current judging system when you got two guys up against the cage. Like, they spent most of the first and second round rolling around on the cage.
Right.
Now, Chael did take him down, but, you know, Bisping popped right back up from the first one. So to me, that should nullify the takedown.
But it won't. That's the
unfortunately,
problem. Yeah, that's what's so
to me
fucked up
that
about
should have canceled each other out. The second takedown, okay, I give him credit for that one because he took him down and held him down for a couple minutes.
Right.
And the third round was completely Chael Sonnen. But
Yeah, I mean, that's to me was the deciding round. I mean, the first two rounds were close, but But like you said, I mean, Sonnen did score a takedown, and that's big in judging.
Well, I will say this:
martial arts.
It wasn't an impressive victory, regardless of whatever you want to call the score. I mean, that 15 minutes of fighting wasn't exactly impressive by Chael Sonnen at all.
Everyone sitting at this table and everyone in America who watched this, the only thing that was impressive was Chael Sonnen's WWE speech at the end of the fucking fight.
Even
this shit is retarded.
It's getting old.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I found a lot of his stuff funny, at first, but now it's just starting to get a little much. I mean, it's starting to border on ridiculous. I mean, yeah, it was funny, initially, and some of the comments and all, but now it's just starting to get cheesy.
Okay, let's just do an exercise here. Okay, all right, we're gonna do an exercise.
Jumping jacks.
I'm gonna go with George because George, you're pretty good at just like random shit flying off the top of your head, especially when you're imitating people doing first. Don't do it.
No.
If you were Joe Rogan, what was going through your mind when Chael Sonnen was speaking?
I can't say it.
Why can't?
All right, James, get ready to bleep this. Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Right.
That's exactly. And look, in all seriousness, no. Here's the thing.
Right.
Last week, I blasted Joe Rogan for being a complete douchebag in the ring to a referee. Here was your shot. Here was your shot to nail someone down, to put them on the spot, and you blew it.
Right.
You blew it.
Yeah.
You blasted a ref. You jumped in his face, who, in my opinion, you have no business. That's the Athletic Commission. So all you people who back Joe Rogan on that one, I hope you blast him for letting Chael Sonnen put on that show. Now, I understand when Chael walks away, you can't do anything. But I've seen Joe grab a fighter like this before and bring him back to the interview.
Right.
And that was your shot, Joe, and you blew it.
Right. Now.
I tell you what Rogan should have said.
Was that your whispering again?
Yeah, that would be. What Rogan should have said was, I thought it was Lesnar that was going to the WWE.
Yeah, something.
Some
anything.
Comment, because seriously, that was a prototypical heel promo.
That's good, but you know what, Alex? No one's hearing you. No, go. What were you?
I was just gonna say. I mean, it's getting old and it's getting stupid. I mean, and I like Chael Sonnen. I like the way that he fights and the way that he usually finishes fights. But the bottom line is, it's getting ridiculous. It's stupid, and it makes you look dumb. The funny comments, the funny stories initially that he told to whatever that guy was who was interviewing him, I thought it was funny. I was falling out of my chair.
Right.
Now it's just like it's starting to become
it's like a
buffoon
fucking
show.
Right.
Yeah, it's a circus show.
Yeah, I mean, people were tweeting and saying it's just ridiculous.
I saw him on the Dan Le Batard show on ESPN, and it was ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, it was like he was talking to somebody who's in a total another world. I mean, the delusion it's not funny anymore.
I want to do this to Jimmy just because I can, and I absolutely despise Chael Sonnen. And I'm telling you, if anyone could ever get mounted by a rabid goat, I would put him up there #1, because Jimmy just said he likes the way Chael Sonnen finishes fights. Now, before the Brian stop. Before the Brian Stan,
part of that is he gets finished.
Stop! Before the Brian Stan fight, when was the last time Chael Sonnen finished a fight? And just give me the year. Just give me the year. Let me help you out. 2007. So you don't like the way he finishes the fight because he humps people to death, or he gets tapped out.
Yeah.
He
I mean, the
tapped
fights
out.
usually
You get a
don't
job
go to
in
the
porn.
decision. That's my point. I mean, they're usually, whether he wins or loses, they're exciting fights.
They're not. He beat Brian Stan in the second round, and before that, he lost to Anderson Silva in the fifth.
That was a good fight.
Decision. Submission in the first. Decision. Submission in the third. That's 7 fucking fights that don't. He's rotten. He's got 11 losses, and he stood in the ring and said, "Who can beat me?" 11 motherfuckers did, and Horn did it 3 times. Shut your mouth. Go to the WWE or fight it 205.
Well, that's the thing where and I'm sorry to cut you off. Is Joe Rogan is sharp. He's a great comedian. He is quick.
He's witty.
And I don't know if he feels like he has to hold back because obviously he is a UFC employee and he can't side or say certain things. But when someone gets so dramatic as Chael Sonnen and put him out there, why couldn't he say, Jeremy Horn beat you 3 times? You know what I'm saying? Because he knows that. Rogan knows things, and he's witty enough to have a sharp comeback, especially with Chael just rambling.
But you want to know why? Because Chael doesn't have witty comebacks. Chael's not quick, and you can see that in all of his interviews because he was in Canada with an interview with a guy, and what you just did, he did it to him. And you know what Chael did? Fucking took off his mic and walked away.
Or he gets frustrated.
Because he gets flustered. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's like all of his shit's scripted, and he needs to hurry up and throw it up because if anyone tries to retort or throw anything back, he doesn't know what to do.
Well, he did what he did, and he walked away.
So, whatever.
I mean, he said what he had to say on the mic.
Bottom line is,
And he does a great job. He's a troll. He gets my blood boiling. And trust me, I'm not the only one. You do a wonderful job at it. But when
Right.
Anderson beats you in a soccer stadium in Brazil, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, he's
If
got.
he makes it to that soccer stadium.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that one fight, and if he loses, he becomes irrelevant. If he
Right.
wins, then obviously he's the champion. But
Right. And if he'd have lost
that's
this
it.
fight, he'd have become
Oh
irrelevant.
yeah, he was going to become irrelevant.
His next loss, he's done.
And then if he continues to this act after a loss, I mean, it even looks even worse.
It's just,
He's done it
I mean,
after
it's-
11. He's lost 11
Well,
times.
Yeah, but I don't really remember the.
No
him
one
being
does.
this way.
No one remembers him ever.
I mean, being
He's
this-
talked his way into this.
after
Yeah, no. My point is that I don't really remember him being this way, like in the WEC and all. He was just
Because no one
another
remembers him.
fighter.
Yeah.
But then when he became, or
His
when he
mouth.
came to the UFC, he really started talking the game before the Anderson Silva first
Right.
fight because he was a no name and he
Right.
got a title shot.
Right.
And then he talked his way into
Getting a
an
ring.
entertaining fight, and people wanted to see the fight. And then since the fight went the way that it did go, he was able to continue playing off of that. But before this, I don't
just
ever
think
really remember the guy.
some of the things. It's obvious he's saying some things, but some of the stuff that Chael Sonnen says is so ridiculous. But and one of the biggest things is when he talks about how he whipped Anderson Silva's ass. But the funny thing and the thing of irony about that is that you tapped out.
Right.
You fucking tapped out. That's the way you say I give up. Okay.
You didn't
now,
pass out.
One of the guys that he always makes fun of, Nog. Did you see him fucking tap out? The motherfucker got his arm broke.
he had shoulder surgery.
Had his shit broke. You know what I mean? So I mean, when you sit back and you look at a motherfucker's integrity, and you sit back and say, "Hey, the guy that you make fun of."
Whoa. The man has no integrity. And the reason I can say that is because we can look at his. I know this is out of the ring and it doesn't matter to a lot of you. He pled guilty to federal money laundering. So right there, go look up money laundering and get back to me. So the man has no integrity as a human being.
You know, and I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, George is hating on Sonny and stuff." It's not. You know, Sonny's got great skills. He's
Yes.
an incredible
As a-
fucking wrestler and anything. But sometimes some of the shit he does gets a little bit irritating. And some of the things that's irritating about is what you said earlier in the night, that the fact that it's like he's had second and third chances where some of these other guys didn't. You know, we saw it one time when Forrest Griffin kind of just threw that thing out, and then who was it?
Rashad Evans has made comments.
They
Forrest
got
has
shots,
made
but then
comments.
Witchmajig made the same type of comment
and gets fired.
got fired.
But now,
And then-
granted, he did get rehired.
Right.
But it's like certain people who can provide the company a certain service get favored more so than other people.
Right,
And,
'cause
Nate
and that's
Marquardt-
what happens in
and-
private
and-
companies around the country.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, and part of it is he is. I mean, whether you like the guy or not,
People are tuning in.
He is a good hype man.
Oh, yeah,
And-
he
and
is.
Here's a perfect example.
I will
we
watch
just
him-
spent the last 15 minutes talking about him.
Right.
Yeah.
And he does.
That's
he's-
exactly
and-
what
he wants to do.
And
yeah.
I
what
will
he
be the
wants.
first person to admit he does an outstanding job of getting under my skin without, and I don't know the dude, but his actions as a human being just get to me.
And
he's one of those people. And congratulations. But after your next fight, I'll never have to talk about you again.
And to me, like I said, I mean, I genuinely, I found it funny at first. Now I just kind of
Oh
find
yeah,
it
some of his
bordering
interviews
on
you and I
silly.
talked about. They're
Yeah.
definitely funny. I'm not going to say funny is fucking funny.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And I can tell you right now, during his fight, I bet that got the highest ratings.
Oh yeah,
I bet the
absolutely.
ratings. I bet they got a significant rating spike.
I
for the
watched that
15
fight
minutes.
and remember I was like, oh shit, there's a fight after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had forgot.
Well,
I
just
forgot about the
completely-
Evans fight.
when they kept showing him in the locker room, I thought that was the final fight.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about
Oh, but
Rashad
wait.
Evans."
There was a final fight.
There
wasn't much of one.
And you know
but-
what's funny? I was getting ready to go right up. Yeah. I mean, you know, Evans did what he said he did. He backed up his talk. He defeated Phil Davis via unanimous decision. But I think to some degree, Rashad Evans has to be a little disappointed that he couldn't put away Phil Davis because
Yeah,
Phil Davis is definitely amateurish compared to Rashad
Yeah,
Evans.
he definitely is a work in progress.
Yeah. Go ahead, George, because I know you're thinking some crazy shit.
No, I was just thinking.
Phil Davis is, I mean,
He's got a good tool set. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he does.
great. Well, no. I mean, it needs refinement for sure.
Yeah.
But from an athletic standpoint,
I mean, to think, okay, this is what you got to realize. He's beat everybody. Okay, well, hold on one second. He's beat everyone, and he lost a unanimous decision to a former light heavyweight champ who's a great fighter. I mean, who's only had one loss, and that was Lyoto Machida. So, I mean, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. George Bedford.
Okay,
answer
I had a question. Someone at this table just said he had a great skill set.
That was Jimmy, not me.
I know.
Not me. No.
All right,
Huh?
I listened to your question. It's only fair to let me get mine out.
Okay.
Okay. He looked like he was punching underwater.
Oh, yeah, we tweeted it.
If he does not pick up his speed, he's done.
I think he has speed.
Toyota Machida would
I
kill
didn't
him.
say he had a good skill set. I said he had the tools. Big difference. Skill set implies refined.
Skill set.
I was pretty sure I said tool set.
You said skill set and then went to tools. You actually used both of them. But
whatever, it needs refinement.
Yeah, let me tell you, Lyoto Machida can beat him. I mean, he just looked incredibly slow. Now, I don't know if it was the environment or the situation where he just got too excited and fucking shot his wad in the first 1 or 2 rounds. Because I'm going to tell you what, at the end of the first round when he was in that crucifix, he had to spend a lot of energy trying to get out of it.
Going into that fight, when they showed the rankings in the light heavyweight division, they had Evans at 2 and they had him at 7. I would
17?
7.
17?
Yeah, 7. I mean, I know team, but the thing is, the people that were behind him, he's beat. He beat.
I'd love to see a rematch with him and Gustafsson now.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, and I said before this, I thought Phil Davis needed to lose this fight, but lose it close, and I don't think that was a close loss. It was borderline embarrassing.
I don't think he ever did it.
I don't think he looked good at all at any point during the fight. Does that mean he won't look good? No.
Well, I think one thing with Davis is, you get in there and Rashad kept a good pace and he got tired. And once you get tired, it looks like you're throwing your punches underwater.
Well, even in fairness to George, in the first and second round, I mean, he didn't look like he was. There's a difference between punching and flailing, and he looked like he was flailing. I mean, they weren't punches.
Okay. Yeah.
And the thing is okay, he's a great wrestler. That's beyond question. But every fight starts on the feet. You got to have some stand up.
Yeah.
If you don't, you won't
and he's
survive.
a great wrestler, but Rashad is a smaller man. You can tell definitely.
Right.
And he was controlling him on the ground.
And the thing I was shocked by is why didn't Phil Davis, use your size and smother the guy up against like we saw in the Sonnen and Bisping fight.
Bisping had him up against
Sonnen kept coming forward, pinned his guy against the cage. That's a great way to eliminate any guy striking. You can get in and look at Randy Couture. Randy Couture he was a champion fighter off of that style there.
I look at this fight and we can sit here and talk for shit about hours about shit, but there's one thing that I learned from it.
Rashad Evans is going to get fucked up by John Jones.
Yeah. I just realized how much better John Jones is than all these guys.
And I'm going to tell you what, I think Anderson Silva could fuck up Rashad Evans.
Yeah. I think honestly, when you look at those classes, I think the best matchup for John Jones would be Anderson Silva.
I agree.
I don't think any of those light heavyweights are just because of their length and their striking ability can fuck with John Jones. And both of those guys tonight, they're great fighters, but.
And I'm going to tell you what, I like John Jones, and when he's done fighting, he can do commentary.
Yeah.
He was very fun and energetic to listen to.
He's sharp for a young guy, man.
Yeah, and he added some spunk and some pizzazz to,
Spizzazz, that's a new motherfucking word in this town. Spizzazz, bitches.
Whoa, I don't even want to know what it
get
is.
with that shit. Don't be late.
Put it this way, it's a lot more fun than listening.
Wow.
It's a lot more fun listening to him than Kenny Florian.
Right.
Kenny Florian is like listening to a mummy.
Yeah, man. Fuck that shit.
Now,
Spizzazzes.
Unfortunately, we have more MMA to talk about.
New hash mark on Twitter. Tweeter.
Whoa. Spizzazz on Twitter.
Oh, God. Yes.
Good God.
How
all right,
the fuck
guys.
do you
Let's
spell
roll.
Spizzazz?
Spizzazz. Spizzazz. Spizzazz.
Isn't one of our friends' birthdays coming up? Or are we going to talk about it on the next show? The redheaded one.
Oh, no, we'll talk about that on the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, because it'll be.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll have
time?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We'll give him a mad shout out. A mad shout out. Anyway, let's roll on to UFC 143, which is going to be on Super Bowl weekend. Let's just talk about the main event. Because the preliminaries, there's a couple good names, but we'll be here till fucking Wednesday talking about that shit. The first fight is a middleweight bout between Ed Herman and Clifford Starks.
No, Ed Herman had a pretty long layoff. He fought, he fought August 29th of 09, and then he came back June 4th of 11, and he's won 2 fights.
Yeah, he's been around since a good minute.
Yeah,
too,
he
'cause-
beat Tim Kruger
Yeah.
and beat Kyle Noakes. I have a vested interest in Ed Herman because I liked him on the show. I find him entertaining. So I hope he can win this one and keep it rolling.
Yeah, well, Starks is undefeated in his MMA career. He debuted in the UFC his last fight and won. He's still, he's not a veteran, like Herman. I'm gonna go with Herman totally redeeming himself after the long layoff.
Yeah, I got it. I got Ed Herman as well.
And
Yeah.
you know what?
I'll probably
he's
pick
got a
him in
little
the
bit
second
more
round.
pizzazz.
Second round KO or TKO,
Right.
probably.
Shit. Shouldn't we be announcing who won the first month? Or are we going to wait for them to tally the results?
Yeah, we're gonna wait for
I'd-
them to tally, and then we'll come back when we film in a couple of days. Yeah.
Like Monday?
Yeah, that will work good.
Okay,
'Cause
we'll
that'll be
announce
the
it
end
on
of-
our next show.
Yes. Bantamweight bout.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the dude's name I can pronounce, Scott Jorgensen.
Scott Jurgensen is going to be facing off against Rina Baru. I said that shit right, so every Brazilian follower just give me a mad
I know
shout
he
out
can
and stuff like
submit
this
people.
because I got some pizzazz in my pronunciation up in this motherfucker.
You got the phonetic spelling here.
Phonetics up in. I'm going to tell you what. Name me a person that's just a complete fucking hooker or whore. Name one.
Jenna Jameson.
Okay, Baru will submit you faster than Jenna Jameson will spread her legs. That nigga said it, Tito. Anyway,
I retract that statement. Jenna Jameson is a beautiful woman.
right? Yeah. But Jurgensen is a pretty crafty veteran. He's only had 4 losses on his resume.
Only 4.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, and they 3 were by decision. Only 1 was by submission.
That's nice.
So with that being said, he might be a tough guy to submit. But if there's a man that can submit him,
It's
it
Rina.
would have to be Baru.
Baru.
Because that motherfucker got spazazz.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Baru. Fuck it. I like Baru.
Baru?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Baru.
Baru too. Yeah.
Baru
I
too.
think I'll go with Jurgensen in the second round.
You are?
Yeah.
What the hell? Is
Just make sure you fucking put that shit in for next month.
motherfucker says Baru?
In the welterweight bout, we have Josh
Bout.
Koscheck
In a
going up
bout.
against Mike Pierce.
I'm going with Koscheck.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go right off the bat and go with Koscheck.
I like Koscheck.
Koscheck right now. I think could be the second best welterweight in the class.
Really?
You know what?
Wow.
I'm not gonna argue with that.
I think so.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of people will be like, "Man, Kevin, you fucked up, man."
Well, my
Fuck
question
you
is,
talking about,
well, then,
motherfucker.
is he better than Condit or Diaz?
Oh shit! I forgot all those motherfuckers in this
GSP?
class. Can I retract that statement with some pizzazz on it, top of it? How about that, George? You like that shit?
You're an ass.
I know. I'm an ass.
So now he fell down those rankings?
Yeah, he did fall down my rankings.
I'm gonna tell you
a
what.
little bit.
Koscheck's top 5.
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
I would
Koscheck's
agree.
definitely top 5.
I would agree.
How about everybody on the comment board telling us where do you think Koscheck is ranked in the welterweights? Maybe you guys can straighten me out on that because I got a little carried away because I forgot about Diaz and Condit.
I would
These
love to
guys
see
are-
Koscheck
The
fight
welterweight
Condit.
class is coming,
Yeah.
and that's what we talked about
Well,
last time.
I'd like-
GSP will have some problems coming off this injury, getting back to this
Especially
class.
depending on how he does come back from the injury.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. And there's some fucking GSP,
Holy shit.
You okay there?
A little bit.
All right, I'm glad to hear that.
was Jersey
anyway,
Mike's.
you got Koscheck?
Yeah, definitely. I got
Koscheck.
Koscheck.
I'm going with Koscheck.
Okay. Alex,
And I don't
does
think
not have
I'll
a
go to-
mic. Do you have Koscheck?
I don't think it'll go to the.
Whatever, I'll take Koscheck.
We say that people probably maybe can hear you because literally, if
I
you're
said I'll take Koscheck.
awesome. Yep, my neighbor's saying, "Who the fuck's Koscheck?" He's like, "Koscheck,
Yeah.
Koscheck,
Call the cops. Call the cops.
Call the cops."
Ultimate Fighter show. I know that shit.
Now, heavyweight bout,
This is gonna be
Oh, it's
interesting.
heavy.
big sexy fight.
It's heavy.
It's heavy. Okay,
At a combined weight of.
Snacks.
monkey. Roy Nelson will be going against Fabricio Verdun.
I hope he's still doing his weight cut from his
Now
last
this
fight.
is his entry back into the UFC, right?
Who's?
Fabricio's.
Yeah, Fabricio's
right? Because
Verdun.
he was
Yeah.
away. He was in Strikeforce for a while.
Yeah, he fought in UFC, went to Strikeforce. His last time we saw him, he was in Strikeforce laying on the ground, like
Alistair-
bicycle kicking
yeah.
at Alistair Overeem.
Right. Now, I think this is a very interesting matchup because we actually talked a little bit about it before we turned on the camera.
Shocker.
And it's like, you know what? Roy Nelson is good standing up.
Yes,
He's got
he
great
is.
fucking hands. And you know what? He can definitely handle himself on the ground.
Yep.
I think his hands are actually better than Verdun's.
Now that's not
Yeah.
saying a lot.
No,
it's
The
not-
one-armed man actually has better hands
Yeah.
than Verdun.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
Now, the thing is
guy with
that
the
he is going to
prosthetic.
give up some length because Fabricio Verdum's one of these guys that you just
He's a
really
big
don't
guy.
realize how big he
Well,
is until he gets a bit
here's what I
older.
want.
he's 6'5".
Here's what I'm going to ask
No,
you.
that motherfucker's not 6'5", sure.
I think he is.
Oh, I think he is too. He's
maybe he is.
Tall cup of tea.
Yeah, because he fought. Yeah,
he was
6'4". He's 6'4", I think. Yeah.
Now here's my question for you two.
Sure.
We all have saw.
Man, what is up with your fucking English today? We all have saw how much pizzazz this motherfucker got, man.
He doesn't have an English degree.
Definitely not.
His shit is crazy.
I can barely speak English.
Right.
What I'm getting at is we all saw Fabricio Verdum fall on his back and try to pull guard.
Oh, that was sick.
Yeah.
He didn't want to stand. Move. So what? How do you see him? He is 6'4". How
He's
do you?
6'4". See, I got my shit right.
How do you see him approaching this fight? How do you see him approaching this fight? Is he going to try to keep it standing?
Not like a terrapin.
I wouldn't think so.
Roy Nelson will flop on his ass and fucking just
he's going to smother him.
Yeah, he will smother him.
Roy Nelson in the second with the belly smother.
Yeah. I mean, they're both big guys. Roy Nelson has the problem of sometimes running out of steam.
Cardio could be the issue.
That's what Verdum's got to get this into the third round.
But I remember when Roy Nelson fought Junior Dos Santos, he stayed in that fight for a little while. I mean, it wasn't, and he didn't get put away. You know, I mean, he hung in there, and we know Dos Santos has way nastier hands than Verdum.
Oh, yeah. That's not even.
This could be an interesting matchup.
Who are you liking, Kevin?
You know what? I'm going with Roy Nelson.
I think I'm going to go with Roy Nelson
I am too.
I'm not overly impressed with Verdum. I don't think he has
Alex
enough.
is shaking his head like, man, you motherfuckers have lost your mind, man. But you know what? I'm going to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Roy Nelson.
I'm going with Roy Nelson.
I'm going with the mullet.
Yeah. Roy Nelson, I think some people look at Roy Nelson's appearance and think, they just think he can't fight. That motherfucker can fight.
Yeah.
Dude, I just found
the
fucked up
famous
news
saying
clip.
You can fight your ass off. Like, I never knew how somebody can fight their ass off and walk out of the ring after fighting their ass off.
He needs to fight his gut off.
Yeah.
I hope he's, like I said, I hope he's still cutting weight from his last fight.
He definitely looked better the last time.
On to the reason why Kevin's buying the fight. Actually, probably not. On to the reason why we're probably going to the bar to watch the fight, because Nick Diaz draws attention second to none. I'd say just like Chael Sonnen.
I'm a Nick Diaz fan.
I am too. And I'm going to tell you what, after watching this thing they're doing on FX, I genuinely feel bad for the dude.
But I mean, that's just him.
But it's him. But I mean, when you're doing an interview, and if that's the camera, you're doing the interview like this.
He just doesn't like the. He just doesn't like
little social anxiety.
They just want to fight. They don't need anyone to know. They don't need anyone there.
There's a kind of part of me that likes it, because it's like, I don't need this fucking starlight and stardom bullshit.
Like it.
They're like, hey, you know what? We want to fight. This is what we love and we have a passion for. And like, once it gets into all the media and the hype bullshit, even though it's part of fucking being an athlete in the UFC, they just don't like it. It's fucking uncomfortable. Now I think Nate handles it better than Nick, but I just.
I'm going to tell you what Nick's about to do. He's going to handle his business and whip Carlos Condit's ass.
This is a good.
I'm not sold on Condit.
Carlos Condit has looked really good as of late, but the problem is with Nick Diaz, like, what is he going to do? Is he going to take him to the ground? Because Nick is nasty on the ground. You're going to stand up with him. He could knock almost anybody out. Condit. He's great, but you got to hit Nick Diaz like 45 times inside his head to knock him out.
It would surprise me if this fight even goes to the ground at all. I mean, Condit's going to just stand and throw punches.
Right.
I mean, and we know that Nick Diaz is more than comfortable standing and throwing punches.
But here's the thing: how is Condit going to handle a guy constantly coming forward? It's different. It's not like they're going to stand toe to toe and do this. It's going to be.
Mm-hmm. This is the thing when it's funny because you always have the MMA and boxing comparisons and stuff like that. And Nick Diaz is a great boxer too. I mean, he really is. You see how good of a boxer is when he fights another stand-up person, and it's like, okay, his boxing skills. I mean, mixed martial arts is everything, But when it comes to standing with Nick Diaz, all of a sudden, even though he looks kind of slow and he's pecking at you. Right. The jab is fucking nasty. He's snapping your head back.
He keeps you right on the end of his punches.
He does. He keeps that distance, and it's right at the end of that punch where it has a lot of power, and it snaps your neck back, and it keeps you off balance, and all of a sudden, you look amateurish. All of a sudden, you just look like you do not know what the fuck you're doing. He's very unorthodox how he stands and slings shit. Yeah. And he just, and he's hard to hit, too.
And here's another thing. Ask Michael Bisping what it's like to be smothered. Because if you're a striker and you're trying to get a punch off and you're trying to, now you have this guy who's constantly coming forward. You do land a shot that you think would at least stun him, and the dude's still coming forward and he's still throwing punches.
Yeah,
it's hard to deal with. It's hard to train for that.
And the thing is, it's you've got to look at someone like Nick Diaz, like, I'm going to have to get inside and effectively just work him because you're going to nail him in most cases. And, everybody, does someone have the power to drop him? Yeah, but he's got such a good jaw.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to get
Ask Paul Daly.
You've got to get Paul Daly throws bricks.
Paul Daly is
get the
probably
job.
one of the hardest punchers in the welterweight class.
Caught
period.
him clean. He got up
definitely.
and then lost the fight.
Right.
I mean, you're looking at a guy that has a lot of heart and a good jaw on top of it.
That dude is fighting for his win bonus every single time.
Carlos Condit, it's a tall task, and I mean, I don't know if he's up to that task. And honestly, I know for a fact that the UFC would certainly prefer, I'm sure, Nick Diaz win.
Oh.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, even I heard GSP. Normally, he is very non-committal, indifferent, but he was on HD, whatever the show, Inside MMA, and he basically said he wants Nick Diaz to win.
Yeah, because Nick Diaz called him a straight ass punk.
So, but I just found that was interesting because
right.
normally he's just so indifferent and doesn't really care.
Yeah.
But you can tell it certainly got his blood boiling.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see
Nick
that
Diaz
fight.
and Nate have been fighting since they were 3 and a half.
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
Does GSP come back and immediately fight whoever's holding the belt between these two,
I don't
or
know.
does he get a tune-up fight?
I think
I
he's
would
got to
think
get a
he'd
tune-up.
get a tune-up.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, the winner of the Nick Diaz Condit fight should be ready to fight again. What, June,
That's
July?
yeah, for sure, summertime.
GSP
yeah.
won't be back by then.
I mean, I don't even know if you could see. Could you say that his tune-up would be against the loser? No, because that's. I mean,
That's not a tune-up.
That's not a tune-up,
Because I'm going to
you
tell you
know?
right now, the
Yeah.
last thing GSP wants to do is come in and get a loss. Because if GSP comes back
Oh.
and had a quote-unquote tune-up fight and it was against Nick Diaz or Carlos Condit, the loser of this, and he lost,
who would be a good tune-up fight in the welters?
Koscheck,
Name me 3 other welterweights, quick.
Josh Koscheck, Mike Pierce,
That he's not.
Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz.
right.
Ed Herman, Clifford Starks winner.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right. I mean, it's. I mean, yeah. Everybody says how that class. I hear this a lot from, and it tends to be from GSP fans and stuff like this. And GSP is a great fighter, but I don't think the welterweight class. I think now it's starting to get some good people. If you ask me where the depth are in classes, it's definitely lightweight, and I think it's definitely light heavyweight.
Right.
I think those are the two.
Well, I mean,
think the
remember
welters
even,
and middles-
what about the Cowboy?
He's
fighting
he's
lightweight. You know.
But we have the guy who knocked out old John Fitch, put him to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I forget the guy's name. And then obviously Jake Ellenberger
Ellenberger
crushed Jake Shields.
Yeah.
I mean, those are guys that are exciting.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know if it may be the smart thing to do to come back and have a tune-up fight, but
Right.
I could see GSP coming back and this be his first fight back, be defending the title against the interim champion.
Yeah, he could. I mean, it depends on how fast.
I mean, because that's just the type of person he is.
Let him fight Jake Shields. You want a tune-up fight? You couldn't get a better tune-up fight for GSP than Jake Shields.
Yeah, nay.
Why?
Yeah.
Do you know how easy that would be?
Yeah, but he's already fought him. They're gonna need. The UFC
But
is going
here's
to
the
put
thing,
him
you
up
can't
against
just
somebody
trot-
that's going to
You
draw.
can't just trot a tomato can out, though.
Johnny
'Cause then it
Hendricks,
looks
Martin
bad.
Kampman. He's not going to fight Rory McDonald. That's who Tapology has as their number 10.
Yeah.
So, all right, here.
I mean, that's why I just have a feeling the way GSP is,
You know what?
he's
I'm-
going to come back and fight.
as much as this is going to surprise everyone there, I'm agreeing with Jimmy on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I say let him fight Jake Ellenberger. If Jake Ellenberger's healthy, Jake Ellenberger is currently ranked number 5 according to Tapology.
And he's a tough guy.
I don't want to see him fight Fitch. Don't want to see him Shields. That's 6 and 7. Johnny Hendricks. Maybe if Hendricks wins
I
a
just
fight
think
and moves
anybody
up,
that's in the top 5 is
Hendricks
beyond
was the guy.
a tune-up
Hendricks
fight.
was the guy that knocked out John Fitch.
Right.
okay, then let him fight Hendricks or Ellenberger.
Not
There.
good. As your first fight back,
You
it's a
can't.
tune-up.
But I agree with Jimmy. You can't have
You
him
can't
fight a
trot
tomato
out a
can and then have him
tomato
fight
can.
for the belt. I don't
Yeah,
give a shit
true.
who he is.
But it's an interim belt. He's fighting. I mean,
He's been
it's-
out 10+ months.
Well, and actually hasn't fought months before that.
Exactly.
Right.
You know.
He
But
could fight
anyway,
Diego Sanchez.
Boring.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna get the.
No,
hell
we're
out
not. George
Oh.
George was smirking a while ago because he came up with the fucked up news segment. And here's the fucked up news segment.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about this shit.
Yeah, because I'm the only one who enjoys this type of shit. And that just says a lot about me. So if this is the time where you don't like to hear me talk, stop watching.
Yeah. Go ahead with that fucked up news, man.
Fire kills 27 at drug rehabilitation center in Peru.
Okay.